So the system knows that when they put guns in the hands of the poor, the only people the poor gonna attack is their same social economic class. That is why they have this phrase, let the wolves eat themselves. You get the gist? So that is why the rich and powerful around the world, and in Jamaica, don't really care that much when the poor man has his tool. Because they know that the poor man is already psychologically programmed to only attack one social economic class.
One bag of gold medal pan me no. Champion boy on the damn bingo. Pan a food and sing and
YouTube family, it's me again, the one and only Jamcan. You see, I dress like a plantation owner in the Caribbean, specifically Jamaica, because that's the topic I am covering. And you know, I believe I look like a plantation owner from Westmoreland. However, I never had any land, so I just say, you know, fake it till you make it. People, we left off on part 1 discussing Reaganomics, Thatcherism, in essence, neoliberalism, and how neoliberalism in the 1980s destroyed Jamaica's economic base. Because Jamaica had a population system that supplied the plantation economy. And when Reagan and Thatcher came in with neoliberalism, it just destroyed the local economy. But we also have to look in the 1970s when Michael Manley got some kind of ideology on democratic socialism and said, tell you what, he want to nationalize bauxite, he want to tax bauxite, he want to raise taxes on this, and he want to do a whole reformation to kind of re-socialize the people, educate the people, and invest in Jamaica. And I kind of sympathize and empathize with him. But he wasn't looking at the system from a broad perspective. You know, people, when you have a 500 pounds gorilla sitting beside you, you have to be kind of tippy-toe. But Michael Manley got a little sense of brevity, and he was trying to kind of model Fidel Castro's movement. But with a population of about 2 million by then, you're gonna go up against America who taking on bigger countries than you. It won't work.
To anger the United States of America. And the answer is this: we are not angering the United States of America. They are angering themselves.
I am doing this part 2, and without a doubt, part 1 was a bit long, and I don't want to bore you guys. So I am going to try to do my best to kind of keep the videos under 25 minutes. But because I kind of dig up this ant's nest and these videos kind of getting my momentum and my juices flowing, I believe we're going to have a part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 5. Because, you know, Prime Minister Holness hit a nerve. Hit a nerve, say boys. You can't do nothing about it, you know, which is true. But also, the way the system kind of interconnected and intertwined and how it's reliant on capital, I mean American capital, you realize that in essence, he really cannot do much, but he can't say it. Why he cannot say it? He knows who has the power in Jamaica.
That make you feel miserable, angry, cross.
When we look at that time, we see a complete shift in the economics of Jamaica. We had capital flight. Rich people start moving the money out of Jamaica. Rich people start flying away. Now here you are with would say, a plantation economy that does develop its intellectual capital, meaning that you're coming out of slavery, you're coming out of colonialism, you're coming out of planter classism. You've never had a chance to re-socialize, educate, and develop your population. So you had a human being looking normal but doesn't function rationally and logically and have the intellectual wherewithal to build an economy. So what that caused in the Jamaican economy, it caused a situation where the economy started to implode. Now people, you and I know that if you keep any party around Jamaican people, quote unquote black people, and if you don't have food, you know you're gonna have a problem. If you keep a funeral around Jamaican people and you don't have food and liquor, you know you got problems. So, when you realize that the US start to turn off the food tap and turn off the money tap, you know, Michael Manley start to look like Moses. You know what happened? You took us out of Egypt where we're eating good food, and now you're bringing us out, bring us out in this called Promised Land. We ain't get no food, no meat, no. What's going on with you, Moses? So, in essence, the same people who you're trying to liberate, and you can't give them dumpling and them ackee and saltfish and them chicken and whatever and them rice. The same people gonna turn against you, you know.
We don't have a problem with a 200 or 300 or 500% increase, except when it is for the person or groups for whom it would get them to a position where they can have a livable wage.
So that situation now, capital moving away from Jamaica. And Manley now stuck in a situation now he has no money. He's flying around, go to Libya trying to get money. Well, Libya ain't got enough money. Gaddafi ain't got enough money to help him. So he was boxed in a corner with democratic socialism, trying to nationalize, trying to tax the little industry he has, because bauxite was the goal back then. But frankly, Papua New Guinea, another country, was producing bauxite. The bauxite owners also start to reduce the production of bauxite, so he couldn't get the capital to do what he wants to do. So therefore the squeeze was in it. Mayor Rothschild says, the great European or German banker, he said, I do not care who is the head of state as long as I control the economy. He also said, I don't care what puppet is placed on the throne of England to rule the British Empire where the sun never sets. Let me control the nation's money, and I will show you who controls the empire. Money answered all things. And if Jamaica didn't have money back then Jamaica was in serious trouble. You know, lately, you know, they're jumping up and down saying, you know, Elon Musk is the richest man, you know, and Jeff Bezos is the richest man. They are poor compared to the Rothschilds family. Those people are money. Those people, Mayor Rothschild had 5 sons who became central bankers of Europe. And some say control the Federal Reserve in America. That's what some people say. But let me digress. I just want to show you how power works. Now, if you don't have a certain level of economic power in a global economy, you could push ideals and ideology till the cows come home. The one who has the power will make the rules. They said in life, the golden rule is defined that he who has the gold make the rules. Keep in mind, the Bible says, money answereth all things, not some, all things. When I think about it now, the stance Manley was taking now with democratic socialism, as I said, in his perspective, it was a good move. But based on the capitalist market system, that's a no-no. Now, with capital flight moving away, with not be able to servicing its debt, because Jamaica is not really manufacturing. Jamaica only resources maybe bauxite and some maybe cash crops. So Jamaica doesn't have enough kind of cash. With the OPEC oil crisis in 1973, that kind of obliterated its reserve. So Jamaica literally limping financially. And when America put in the squeeze on Jamaica, Jamaica is caught in a situation where it cannot really feed its people or functioning, because to buy these resources to take care of its economy, like medicines and food and all the kind of stuff that Jamaica needs, and you don't have any capital, then quite frankly, you're in an implosion situation. Now, President Nixon at that time sent Henry Kissinger down and said, Henry Kissinger, go talk to Michael Manley there, because Michael Manley needs some kind of slap up by him since to kind of wake him up and realize that the stance he's taking ain't gonna work with us. Michael Manley be a little bit stubborn, got a little bit cocky, I would say. And listen to what him says.
They are not going to tell me what relationship I have with Fidel Castro. We have that friendship with Cuba as part of a world alliance of third world nations that are fighting for justice for poor people in the world. And I tell you as the party leader, as long as this party is in power, we intend to walk through the world on our feet and not on our knees.
Now, Michael Manley started to become a thorn in United States side. The US started to get very, very impatient with Manley. And if you look at geopolitics nowadays, when you start to get in the bad books of the United States, you know, he'll send the Secretary of State, and if you don't listen, well, you know, the C, the I, and the A is gonna start sending out the jackals to come and nip at you. And a few times they're trying to get rid of Manley, but they never succeeded. So, when you think about it now, Manley now, no, the US now start to support Seaga big time. They start to push for Seaga now, so you know a lot of destabilization start to take place now, where the C, the I, and the A start to do covert operations, sending arms and kind of shortening food and contaminating food and setting up some kind of bad stuff now to kind of destabilize the Manley government. In the meantime now, Manley start to draw close to Cuba now, where he start to send some of his comrades now to get training in Cuba. Now, this doesn't really make any sense. You know, Bob Marley tried to do his best now to try to create a peace rally so them can work together and build unity and cut out this kind of political tribalism now. Now, this is where now Jamaica political tribalism start to take root. I have learned in politics that if you want to break down any organization or any people, you have to use divide and rule. So Jamaica, which is predominantly black now, how do you really divide them? They divide them on the plantation through kind of colorism. They divide them through languages, but not in the kind of, say, modern era in the 1980s. How do you divide them? Political tribalism was the most effective, so you have JLP and you have PMP, and the two people who are ignorant majority unlearned can't even realize that there was a trick from an outside force who were trying to splinter them. Now think about this, really, people. An uneducated mass can't get to buy flour because there's no flour, no rice, no nothing. Guns in their hands, like you see today, we have an average 4 murders a day. So guns in their hand, and they cannot conceptualize or understand. Psychologists phrase it that displaced aggression. They're mad as hell. They don't know where the pressure is coming from. So what they do, they turn on each other. And they keep doing it up to this day. So this is where you get this political tribalism. Now with guns in their hands, hungry, no way out, hopeless, with a slave mindset, what do you think will happen?
They run, they can't hide, we'll find them. But in the meantime, they're killing others.
People, every oppressed group internalize the oppression and attack each other. Let me break it down in simple terms for you. Say me and you, Johnny, go to school. And Johnny, you work hard every day. And you put your money together and you buy your one little car, Johnny. Me as the one who kind of lazy and sit at the side and want things easy. Me and my gun and few of my little minions them and run with me now. Mr. Brown down the street have about 5 cars, but he's connected to the power system, so he has power. So if I steal one of Mr. Brown's car, you know, Johnny, what happened is that Mr. Brown gonna get information through the streets that say, yo, it's me who steal his car. The repercussion from Mr. Brown becomes connected and my links gonna be very, very hard against me. So what I do, I internalize my oppression against Mr. Brown. And what do, Johnny? I come and watch you and case you, put my gun in your side and take away your one little car that you need for your family and your job. So the system knows that when they put guns in the hands of the poor, the only people the poor gonna attack is their same social economic class. That is why they have this phrase, let the wolves eat themselves. You get the gist? So that is why the rich and powerful around the world and in Jamaica don't really care that much when the poor man has his tool. Because they know that the poor man is already psychologically programmed to only attack one social economic class, his own. That is why, for me, I avoid vulnerable population. Let me say it again, people. I'm not classist, but I use wisdom. I avoid vulnerable population. A population have a lower intellectual level. A person who get angry easily. A person who wants things too easily. I avoid those population. Survival move. Well, yeah. Man must be wise. Wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. That's what the Bible says. So I'm trying to use wisdom. So YouTube family, having said that, Edward Seaga won the election in 1979-1980 and there was jubilation and euphoria. Yeah, we got rid of the commie. As I would say, they got rid of Michael Manley. I remember when I was a boy around 9 years old and I had to run in this Catholic church. We had to sleep over there at night because shot was firing in Kingston. Shot was firing. Because guess what? JLP fighting against PMP over what? Over power and ideology. When you look back now, was it worth it? Pure foolishness, people. Pure foolishness. However, Edward Seaga now became the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Yeah, people. Edward Seaga said, now you'll have jinglings in your pocket. People, I remember that statement. Jamaicans, you're gonna have jinglings in your pocket. He was absolutely right. Not money, you know, jinglings, because guess what? He was also the Minister of Finance. People, we have the facts now watching the hen house. Where have you ever heard the Prime Minister and his cabinet, who in his act seems so incompetent that he is the PM and also the Minister of Finance? The facts now watching the hen house under a free market system. Talk to me, people. Talk to me now. Think about this. So if I control the country's treasury, what do you think will happen to the money? Now the US now Reagan wanting to start to liberalize the market, privatize sugar, privatize flour, privatize bauxite, privatize this. Yo, he want the American capitalists now to come in now and kind of what they say, liberalize the market. But Seaga was thinking about his circle. Seaga start owning hotels, investment companies, running up big debt, and they say, well, how come a Prime Minister have so many debts? In the meantime, he was not kind of open up the markets free enough for the American capitalists to come in. They were giving Jamaica more aid and opening up the tourist industry because the Jamaican government owned quite a bit of hotels. So what happened now, Reagan was starting getting a little bit uncomfortable with his slow pace of action. No, Seaga in the meantime trying to survive. He's trying to amass some of the wealth. So what happens now? The public industries that was, say, nationalized and owned by the government now start to move away in private hands. You know, in the midst of economic devastation, money doesn't disappear. It just moves in private hands. Now, say for instance, say the government owned the flour mill. And the government was trying to do its best so the average man could have a union and have a good job. No, because the government broke and you start to sell off the industries now. Your private cronies now start to buy up the industries now. So money that was centralized in the state now start to become decentralized down in a few independent hands. Recently I read in the Gleaner about, you know, the Minister of Transport, Darrell Vaz. Darrell Vaz, yeah. You know, Darrell Vaz when the US took away his visa. You know, the Darrell Vaz that have a little bit anomalies here and there. So it's a part of the master plan that, you know, they're trying to create a new aerodrome in Negril, where they're building a new airport. And they're trying to start the Ian Fleming one in next year, January, because about 5 million tourists come to Jamaica because of the winter season. And they're trying to resurrect the one in Clarendon. No, I want you to think about it. In politics or the ministers, they know the information before the public. I know Jamaican leaders, political leaders, have no loyalty and they're unaccountable. No, they're highly unaccountable. So when they know all of these developments gonna happen, who you think gonna buy the lands around the areas before these airport develop? It's called speculative capitalism. You see, they and their cronies know what's going to take place, so they kind of position themselves to capitalize in the long run. While you, the average man, you just react to the situation. The big fish make waves and you just get spilled over so, because you don't have a clue what's going on. So think about it. When Seaga came in now, and the Minister of Finance now, and the government broke now, and they have to sell off government assets now, who buying them? Take a good look at the PSOJ again. People, this is how the system works. Now, let me break for a second here. If you're in politics, what would you do? Let that simmer. What would you do? I believe every politician should take care of their families. If I'm in politics, I'm going to take care of my circle. So that foolish man wouldn't do that. But I would be a compassionate capitalist. No. These politicians we have at Jamaica, they're not compassionate. They want the whole of the treasury. So this is why you have this kind of situation where people just angry and upset at all times. And you're skillful because you get mad at the JLP, you know, you want the PMP. And what I'm trying to say is that whether it's right wing or left wing, both wings are controlled by the same bird. It's the same technology going on. But you, the voters there, especially the silent majority, want to just quiet and look at what? Not in politics, you know. And the PMP diehards and the JLP diehard, but the two tweedledum and two tweedledum don't have a clue that they're being played for fools. True. People, I hope I'm not boring the people. Guess what? This is all about Andrew Holness said, boy, I tell you what. It's not his fault. It's COVID and supply chain issues. So me argue the point. It's a matter that me chat so much. So we can't get to the point. But the point is so, I would say, technical and dynamic. So I have to be able to kind of, deconstruct it in, intellectual terms and make you digest it in a more palatable, with gravy and some butter on it. Yeah. People, I love you guys. In the meantime, I'm gonna hit the subscribe button, you know, because guess what? I have looked in my YouTube analytics and they say 76% of you will watch me not subscribing. Yeah, me know me not big. But me hear some of those fools, bloggers that talk some nonsense, no have no depth, no have no sense. I'll not give them 100,000 subscribers. I'll not give, you can't even give me 10,000 yet. I don't want so. Hook a brother up, man. Hook a brother up. More grow to more get big. Big fish make waves. Tired of make them look a puddle and waves more I make.